Next item is 10. We had an attorney interview here. We have an attorney, Ms. Lexington, sitting on the front row right here. We're everybody knows we're in a real touchy kind of a land right now, and we are trying to figure out who's going to be representing who, if that's the correct grammar. We know at the last meeting that the council was threatened. It was said that if the council did not rescind some action that it took, that the FBI would be called in and the Attorney General would be called in. So we are gearing up, if you would, I won't call her to come before us today to speak. We'll talk afterward, because when the town is threatened, or when the town interest is in the balance, then we want to make sure that we have proper representation to handle that. And so we'll be talking with you a little bit later. We have other issues and other legal things that are going on that we want to make sure that we tend to as well, to make sure that everybody is playing fair. That's all we ask for, is fair play, and we believe that we'll be able to get that now that we have council on board. All right.
So have you retained her counsel?
We're going to talk about that, because we wanted to find out whether or not we've been very, very careful to make sure that we are that the council is for where it needs to be. That she's representing who she needs to be representing at this point. Right now, it's probably more my interest than it would be the council. As I understand the statute, until somebody does something, then the council should not be that concerned. The town shouldn't be that concerned. But as soon as somebody does something, then we'll be ready to take care of that.
Well, can I make a request?
Yes.
This is just a request that if you decide to make a decision, could you call a special meeting and go into an executive session and we speak with?
Well, that's going to bring the council to the
Let me tell you what the executive session is. By definition, an executive session can discuss only certain things which we've been on before. One of those is potential litigation. Okay? So the mayor says, well, can we go into executive session to discuss potential litigation? Well, we can't discuss potential litigation unless it is also accompanied by a written demand. So somebody stand up in the meeting and say, if you don't do X, I'm going to sue you.
Mm-hmm.
That you can't discuss in an executive session, because although it is threatened for potential litigation, it hasn't been accompanied by written demand. If you get sued, that's a written demand. If you get a letter even that says, I hereby put you on notice, I'm going to sue you day X if you don't do day Y, you can go into executive session to discuss that, because that would be written litigation accompanied by written demand. At this point in time, as I appreciate the situation, although you have been threatened with litigation, there hasn't been anybody who has given you a written demand, and no suit has been filed. So until that point in time, you can't go into executive session to discuss it. And another thing, and of course it doesn't really matter at this point in time, that you need to understand is that my function as city attorney is to represent the town. Anytime the town's interest and the Board of Aldermen's interest are the same, there's no conflict. You remember the situation about the injunction. Well, there was no conflict because the town's interest, and similarly, if you get sued by somebody who gets run off the road and says, I was injured because of a pothole, y'all should have maintained that pothole, I'm going to sue you and the Board of Aldermen. Again, there's no problem with one attorney representing all, because your interests are the same. But of course, if it is something that's different from that, you know, where you get sued individually, you get charged with a crime or something, then of course that's not the town's doing, that's y'all's doing, in which case that'd be a different situation. And of course, as y'all know, anything criminal I couldn't help with it. So that's the deal. But you can't go into executive session to discuss it at this point in time, because I appreciate it doesn't fit within the executive session.
Okay, yes, because I definitely called and asked that question. I thought we'd be in executive session today, but we'll have to hold up on that. Okay. Enterprise budget amendment. We're going to ask council to table this until next meeting, because I have some concerns. I even spoke with the attorney about those concerns this morning. We have a budget, as the one that we just got finished putting in B over there, shaking head. Yeah, I know, because there's another one I came in. The enterprise budget is treated a little bit differently than the regular government budget, and we want to make sure that we're on point, that we are absolutely on point in terms of what we're trying to do. Because right now there are some areas that the sewer and guys need to do, and we need to make some and guessing and all that. We'll, at the next regular scheduled meeting, we will be ready to, address that, and by that time, the revised statutes and all will have been researched to the point where I feel comfortable, and then we'll go from there. So if I can get a motion to table, I appreciate it.
I'll make the motion to table it to next meeting. Second.
Don't need a second. All right, now we're down to 12 and 13. I think we're moving pretty good. The 12 and 13, we all know. The attorney, Bobby Pepper wants to meet with me, and I have assured him that I'm certainly willing to meet with him. He had a few items, a few concerns as it relates to ordinance 700, 701. I put these back on the agenda today because I'm scheduled to meet with attorney tomorrow. We've been trying to meet prior to now, but there's been scheduling problems. Ordinance 700, of course, dealt with the amending of the budget, and 701 dealt with the modifying of the mayor's salary. We had some concerns. I've gone back and forth. Doug is here, the attorney is here, so that if there would be any questions that any of you would have, because the action that Attorney Culpepper is asking that to be rescinded is out of my hands to rescind. Because I didn't make the action. The action is done by council. And as we believe, the council has operated within the confines of the legality that's afforded by the Constitution. If in the event that we're wrong about that, then of course we want to have that addressed. We didn't do this the other day. I think one of the council members asked, would we have some conversation? We have the attorney here, we have our attorney at that point. Bobby made his comments during the public hearing, and so we didn't afford the council that opportunity. I'll just mention one or two things, and then I'll move on. If you have no questions, we'll leave it at that. But Attorney Culpepper was somewhat concerned about what he called the $204,000 deficit in the annual report that had been submitted to the paper. In creating the new budget, the amended budget, we zeroed it out. We eliminated that so that we wouldn't have to. And I asked Mr. Culpepper to look at all of the years prior to now. Look at all the years prior to now. You'll see that in the council's introduction of an amendment of a budget, there would be a deficit. There'd be a deficit. Now, having spoken with my attorney, he says that those deficits, as long as there are monies available for you to use to address those expenditures, then you'd be okay. You'd still be operating within a balanced budget. Now, we thought by us eliminating that 204,000 and bringing it into absolute compliance, I mean, without even having to go outside of that we were doing a really good thing. But Bobby said that he thought that maybe that too was out of budget. He did say too, though, that he thought that there was a problem with the time frame. The time frame that the council actually adopted the budget, and we concur. We concur, and that's why I said that I didn't want any more conversation about that, because we had the old council, if I can refer to them as the previous council, did not adopt that budget within a timely fashion. I introduced it within a timely fashion. For those of us who are scholars who were watching and reading the paper, you would probably remember that I introduced it, but I didn't get anybody I submitted it. It didn't get introduced. It did get introduced, and it didn't get passed until September. So he's right. But in light of the fact that it did not get passed within that time frame, the law then affords me the right to operate within the 50th percentile rule, which I did until the way we can get that thing resolved. So we'll talk about it. Like I said, I brought this up again just so that any of those issues, because I didn't mean to suggest to anybody that Mr. Culpepper didn't know the law. I only said that I thought that his interpretation of it was off. And anybody can be off, and anybody can be wrong.
I need to make a comment.
Yes.
It's in regard to this negotiations or whatever it is that you need to do. I take issue with this statement. Per my recent conversation with you, if ordinances 700 and 701 are rescinded, I will put together a group of white leaders from Jonesboro to meet with you and whoever else you want to meet to try to work out the financial problems and move the town forward.
You got that letter?
Yes, sir. I want to say something.
Okay.
This is America, and this is democracy. And each person sitting around this table was elected to represent a group of people. And we sit at this table, and we're supposed to vote our conscience based on the information that's been provided to us to make wise decisions. And I have a problem. There are wonderful financial leaders in this town. I give you that. They're here in this room. I respect them all. But I don't respect the fact that we're being prohibited from voting based on a democratic society. I take issue with that, and I take issue, and I'll go ahead and let this be a record. If you, as the mayor of this town, agree to let a group of people run the town, then I take issue with that. We're the council. We were elected. The law says we're here to do our job, and that's what we should have the right to do.
I agree. I think that's hitting it right to the heart of what we are having to deal with. I do agree. And it may be that sometimes you guys will vote in a way that's not favorable, popular to the public. But again, it's gonna boil down to you having the right to vote your conscience. I agree. I agree. Is there any other comment?
With that letter being submitted, in the form that it was submitted with the request that was placed in that letter, wouldn't it be wise for the council who voted in favor of these two ordinances to possibly see to talk with the legal counsel?
You can't do it all at the same
I
time.
know we can.
Let's hear that part. Councilman.
Wouldn't it be in the best interest of the council that voted in support of these two ordinances to seek legal counsel, or to at least seek her advice, or to sit down and interview with her also?
I think until you can show injury, and so far, we have threatened, been threatened of injury.
Right.
But I'm still being told that we must be heard. And
What I gave you about potential litigation accompanied by written demand, that was the justification for going into an executive session. You can talk with any lawyer for any time about any reason you want to. That's, I want to make that clear. Of course, as far as the two ordinances, you're really only talking about one. Okay? If everybody in this room wanted to revoke 701, you couldn't do it, because that sets the salary of an elected official, and it can't be changed during their term of office. So, I mean, and Mr. Culpepper knows that, just like y'all do it, Mr. I knows it. So you're talking about a budget, and again, as the Stringer said, y'all are the one that sets the budget, you know, and that's why they have elections, and elections have consequences. But I mean, I just wanna make it clear, I'm not saying you shouldn't meet with a lawyer, you certainly can. I was just giving you the thing for meeting in executive session.
Okay. All right. Any other questions before we leave ordinance 700 and 701?
I do have one. What, will you give us the status, or how will we find out the status of your negotiations?
There will be no negotiation. As a matter of fact, I think I hear what you guys are saying now. You said that you should have the right to vote the way that you choose to vote. And that's the only issue that I would have really necessary to talk with Mr. Culpepper about, because the other issues, as far as I'm concerned, are moot, unless someone can shine some light on something that I don't see here. I don't mind talking with them. We agree to talk with them, but if you tell me that you do not intend to rescind your action, if you let me say to me you do not intend to bring it up again, because it's you that have the right to do that, not. And so that's what he's waiting to hear. His question is, his issue is whether or not you're going to rescind that action. And since I'll be very forthright to let him know that I don't have that authority vested in me. And since the council sounds as though it's not going to do it, then he may not want to.
I'll tell you now, no.
I said,
Well, we don't need, I don't get to need a motion out of
Mr. Mayor, I have a question, please.
Yes.
On concerning the south,
Mm-hmm.
your south. All right, now, ordinance number
38 also had in there a raise for the mayor on his second term. Is that included in the 70,000, or are you accepting both? Just need clarification on that.
No.
701 completely replaces the prior ordinance. 701 fixes the salary for the mayor.
Well, okay, that's what I wanted clarification.
Okay. Any other questions? Now we're down to public comment. We always afford the public an opportunity to take a couple of minutes. We ask that you don't go beyond that, to say whatever it is that you have to say, want to share with this body. We give you that opportunity. It's not an opportunity or time where the council necessarily talks back to you. They have that privilege to do so if they so choose to desire. But it's just an opportunity to hear from you if there is something that you'd like to discuss, whether it be something you heard or something that you just want to share. Hearing none, we'll move now to mayor's comment update. I just simply want to say that I am confident that this town is going to pull together. I'm confident that we're moving in the right direction, a good direction. I'm confident that we're going to stop fighting, barking, biting. I'm confident that once it's all said and done, because I know the things that are bothering you, are bothering us. And the thing that I believe that once these investigations have been completed, I believe that once the reconciliations are done, and no matter where we are, that we see where we are, and we work from that premise to make things better from that point. I'm really excited about where we are as it relates to what the legislative auditors are asking us. They gave us 30 days to do what we need to do. We've completed that. I understand that there's a petition that's still going around with folks saying we want a better form of government, and I think what you're really saying is you want a different one, and that's okay. But again, the democratic process will stand. If in the event that the democratic process says that you vote and you decide who you want, I am it for right now, so I'll be here. So I say to you, let us work together if you so choose to do so. If you don't, most of you know me, you come off and tell me I would never work with you. I don't have any desire, and that's fine. I'm not mad at you. But for those of us who say, no, this town is more important, for those of you who say that us moving forward is more important, for those of you who say that we need to be about the business of attracting industry and doing the things that we're supposed to be about, then when you get there, I'm there waiting for you. That's all I have.
I would like to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to stand up for this. My name is Blanche Showes, and I think most of y'all know I write a column in the paper, and I've had some pretty strong opinions about what's going on here, and I've had some pretty strong opinions about our race relations. And Janice Simmons and I met last week and had a very, very, very nice conversation. And what I would like to pass on to you is we both feel that there are ways that we can come together. There are things that we can come together on. There are some things that we will probably never come together on. But we really would like to get an organization going that I guess I'm searching for the words, but that will make us closer as people that live in Jonesboro, make us closer as American citizens. And we have called and going to have a little prayer meeting on the 5th of April at 5 o'clock in the Veterans Center. The Veteran Block, little thingy down here. And we're going to do this just for women. So I'm sorry guys, but we'll let y'all come another time. But we just kind of felt like maybe just mothers and grandmothers got together, aunts and such, that maybe we might be able to make some kind of a difference in Jonesboro. And we want people to come that has an open mind. If your mind is already just closed shut and you don't think there's any possibility that we could ever all get along as family and friends here, then just stay home. We don't need you. But other than that, we would love to have any female come, bring your daughters if you want to, because we'd like for this to be a different start for Jonesboro. At our discussion, we really did not discuss what's going on in the town of Jonesboro. We can't fix this, And I have no, neither does she have any desire to try to stand up here and tell the council and the mayor and the lawyers what needs to be done here. I really feel like, the only thing that's gonna solve mainly what we've got going here is when the investigation is over. And the chips are gonna fall where they may.
That's right.
And whoever created this mess, will know. And then we can fix it, and then I think we can come together better. But anyway, that's what I'm inviting all the ladies that are here, and if you would pass it around. It's gonna be like a little prayer meeting. Reverend Letty Strawbridge is going to be there, and I forgot the Pastor Stewart is going to be there. And for those of you that are here, if you have any ideas, we'd like to get any ideas that y'all might have that you could share with us that might help Jonesboro. So, like I said, it's just a ladies' own, and it might work, it might not work, but we'll never know unless we try. So that's basically it, and everybody's invited.
That's right, thank you, man.
I just want to say one thing in addition to what Randy said. Dan brought this idea some time ago, and we were talking about it, and I said, why don't you get with our branch and see what we can work out. But beyond that, I think we all recognize that we got some problems we got to work on. And what we'd like to, at some point in time, to see in the city is what we call a diversity conference, where we really get somebody in here to talk to us about improving relationships. We say that some things can only be accomplished through fasting and praying, and that's the aspect that they're going to go forward with. But when we talk about the diversity conference, we want as many people, black, white, yellow, brown, as possible to come together and let's talk about, because we can't be about the past. Again, as I said, we've got to be about the future if this town is going to move forward. And I'm excited about it. I think when people come together with the heart and soul and desire to work together, things can change. And there's no reason why Jonesboro can't be in that mix.
That's right. I purposely allowed them to go beyond the 2 minutes because that's where we have to be and willing to work together. Yeah, we have some differences, and I think that sometimes we didn't know we had these differences. We didn't know, and now all of a sudden we got things hitting us right in the face, and sometimes when we buck against, it appears that one is wrong or that one is wrong, and we don't want to. We'll stop talking about who's wrong. Let's just get together and figure out what we can do that's right, and I appreciate that. I really do. Council. Before I go to council, I want to just say there are some guests in the house, and I'm not going to call them by name, but there are some folks who came here back in the 60s or
48 years.
48 years ago, and they're here now. And they were fighting for freedoms. They were fighting for civil liberty. They were fighting for equality. And I know that they because one of the guys lived in my house, in my mom's home. I won't call it my house, in my mom's home during that time, and fighting for with CORE. I think it was CORE, and a little boy saying one day I'll be able to grow up to fight for equal rights, just like they're doing, and that's what it's all about. And I thank y'all. I'm not gonna call it. I just thank y'all so much for what you did, because you brought us to where we are today. And I don't know about y'all. I'm looking for that. Ms. Knight.
Thank you, Mayor. It's good to see everybody here today. It's also good to have a meeting. The race card has not been played. And I'm not sure that everybody's going to agree with that, but I don't think the race card has been played today like it has been in the past. We cannot move forward if we don't have a race every time we turn around. Now, having said that, look at what Ruston is doing. Now, I'm not saying Ruston doesn't have a problem, but every time you turn around or every time you go to Ruston, you see something new being built, or in Ruston later, something new is coming to town. If they can do it, if we'll get our act together, we can do it. And that's the only way we're going to be able to do it, is working together. And I think we have an opportunity, once all this investigation stuff is over with, that we, as the council and the mayor, we can all get something going for the betterment of Jonesboro. And that's what we got to do, or we gonna die on the vine. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Bob?
Well, I thank y'all for coming, and continue to pray for the town of Jonesboro, the council and the mayor, and we'll continue to pray for y'all.
So, let me just say, I wanna say, she just got out of class or something, it was one of those days, so she was gonna perform a change, so she's usually a little bit prettier than that, but, I wanted to let you know, so because she had on sweat stuff, that's why she didn't sweat.
Just to kind of piggyback on what I said, and once again, thank you guys for coming out. Yes, I just wouldn't want to, yeah, we do need your prayers, and like you say, if you pray for us, we'll pray for you guys, and we can move forward in this. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out, and there's one thing that, I think it's important for all of us to realize, just because a person votes no, it's not a personal issue.
That's right.
It's voting your conscience. It's not a racial thing, it's a right thing. If you think it's right, if you think you're right about the way you vote, you should have the opportunity to do that. And again, just like I'll reiterate what I said last month, I questioned the white mayor for 8 years. And the white and black council for 8 years. I didn't ask them, I had not asked him any questions that I didn't ask them. I have not provided any requests from him that I didn't provide to them. I've done my job to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge. It doesn't have anything to do with the color of his skin. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I do have to disagree with Ms. Blanche about closed-minded people not coming to a prayer meeting. The same God that can bring somebody that's open-minded there is the same God that can convict them when they get there to open their mind.
You're right. I'll take closed-minded people too.
Jesus does, you have to.
All right. Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem?
Just to piggyback off what the stringers just said, about closed-minded people, just go. God don't judge you from your mind, you base it off your heart, he knows your heart. But I'm rocking and smiling because I'm real excited. I've been coming to these for a little while now, and since I've been in this seat, we have not had a meeting this successful. Just to hear Ms. Stringer speak up for the whole council and our rights, and to hear Mr. Blanche say that we're all coming together, it really makes me feel good because now I know in the town of Jonesboro that Martin Luther King dream is about to take place. We really can start working together and take this town forward. And I'm just excited about it. I appreciate y'all for coming out, and I just thank you and just ask you continue to pray with us as we pray with you all.
Motion to dismiss.
Got a motion to adjourn, second, all in favor? All right, thank y'all.
Gotta go back to work now. Danielle, all right? Me too, I reckon. I won't swear to anything.
Yeah.